Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for episode 15. I am still getting over my cold a little bit. That was a nasty one. Hope everybody's doing good today. Today's date, 8/17 of 26, and we're back for another one. Couple things we're going to cover today. We got kind of some big stories, I guess. A lot of people already covered it, but we're going to talk a little bit about that debate with Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens. I'm just going to give my opinion. That's it. We're going to move on from that. Got a couple things lined up from Alex here. Do a little bit of strolling on Twitter, find some couple new stories to talk about. Not a huge news week. I've been paying attention, and other than what the president said, we're going to try to find a video on that and go through that. So, welcome in. I appreciate you guys for coming. Didn't cover anything this weekend. Didn't see anything really breaking other than that debate. To be honest, that debate was probably like the biggest thing that's happened other than a few Trump speeches. It's nothing major's really happened. The war with Iran still on hold ish. I don't even know what to make of that thing anymore. What a monstrosity that's become. So I guess let's just get right into. Well, I want to say thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. Hit that like, hit that sub for me. It always helps. And let's talk about that debate. I guess my opinion on it is kind of short and sweet in a way. We didn't learn anything. We knew what we already knew. To me, it wasn't really a debate. It was just a battle of opinions. And you really can't prove somebody's opinion right or wrong. I don't know on a okay, let's break it down like this. On a fact of subject matter, nobody won. Because one, Tyler Robinson hasn't been found guilty, so Andrew Wilson's side of it is up in the air right now. And Candace Owens' side of it, I feel she said it right. She has the right to think what she wants to think. She has the right to formulate her own ideas, and she doesn't have to accept the mainstream narrative by any means, or that Fed slop, as she liked to call it. I think she called it that. If not, that's what I've heard it be called, Fed slop. So I totally understand. And having people theorize on things that we're getting a mainstream narrative for, if you will, break into conspiracies, has helped solve crimes in the past. Like, it's actually helped us get to the bottom of actual things that have happened. But I feel like this is one of those moments where it's like a JFK or something. You're not going to know who really did it ever. Almost. They stopped the investigation, as far as I know. Now, this is just hearsay from what I understand, but Trump stopped any investigation in the background. And what do you do from there? Like, no foreign. I think Kash Patel was told he is not allowed to look into any foreign sources. And once again, this is all third party. I don't know this to be fact. So if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I'm more than willing to accept it. I'm more willing to accept that I'm wrong on anything. Nothing's 100% carved in stone as far as I'm concerned. So when you hear it from third party, you can only take it as such. So I understand Candace's position and I understand Andrew's position. And so, as far as learning anything new, as far as anything of real substance being gained from that, There was nothing. It was the same old, same stuff we knew, same stuff Candace has already talked about on her shows, same stuff the Fed slop news streams have already fed us on Andrew's part. So, and I saw Andrew on Crowder saying the point of the debate for him was she proved no evidence. True. She did not back up any or corroborate any of her stories that I was aware of. I listened to the whole thing. So on a substance base, in my eyes, neither one of them won because Andrew didn't really provide any substance either, other than what we're already being told by the courtroom itself. So they did that open summary, you know. Now, you want to get, so that's the logic and the common sense part of it. The debate was not, in my eyes, won in that regard by anybody. Nobody provided any evidence or proof on either side. It was pure speculation. Because it's speculation on Andrew's side until dude gets charged completely and actually gets sentenced, the trial actually goes through. So till after the trial, it is all speculation. Now we can go to phase 2 of that. Let's go to the emotional side. I don't like to ride that side of it because emotions come and go. She won it in that regard. He didn't know the charges. That's a big one that stuck out to me. And if you're going to debate this, my God, my man, write it down on your freaking palm. Write it down on your freaking palm, at least what the charges are. I always thought Andrew was a good debater. I've seen him debate other people before. He's pretty good. He gets a little emotional when other people attack him, which is understandable. I'm not saying that's not a knock towards him. That's just me saying, it's not the signs of a good debater, though. You gotta maintain your cool. But they did attack his wife a few times on a couple of the podcasts I've seen and stuff like that. And said some pretty nasty stuff. So I understand why. On the emotional spectrum, on the gotcha question side, he looked like a fool twice. Then he asked about the cell phone. I really think he should have knew, Candace knew what the charges were. She's been talking about this for almost a year since it happened. Of course, she's going to keep up on the charges. And the day before that debate, bro, there's absolutely no way she's not coming in knowing the charges at the very least. So I think calling her out on something that to me would have been so obvious that she knew the charges and you didn't. You can't call somebody out on charges you don't even know what they are. Well, murder being one of them. Okay, it is murder. I do agree with them. Putting the caveat of aggravated on top of murder means it was preconceived. Like he was going to do it and he knew and it's just like saying it's premeditated. It's aggravated, premeditated. Same gist. Not exact charge, but it's the same gist. Andrew lost that from an emotional spectrum point, not from a debate on facts and evidence standpoint. I don't think anybody won because nobody really brought anything new to the table. And dude has not been charged, or he's been charged but not convicted of. He has not been convicted of the charges. So he is innocent until proven guilty. That's how it works. So just because they have him in custody, and they have, from what I understand, and this is just from hearing lawyers and some pretty reputable people talk about it, people who have been prosecutors and been on both sides of that fence, they don't have, from what I understand, very strong evidence. Is it enough to stick? We'll see. We'll find out during the trial. I guess if it's good enough, we'll find out. but from what I understand, they don't have very hyper strong, evidence against this guy. Like enough to, well, Candace said it in the debate. They overcharged him. Should have just charged him with murder, not aggravated murder, because they might not be able to actually prove that. Sorry, guys. Ooh, gotta wake up here a little bit. Maybe I get some coffee in me. So, was it aggravated murder? If he premeditated it, and then firing a gun, my whole thing with it, can they place him behind the trigger? You know what I mean? At the spot. Can they place him behind the trigger at the spot? And that's what's really gonna, move the needle. So just to wrap it up on the Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson debate aspect, the debate itself, through logic and just common sense, nobody won. It was a good discussion, and I want to say that because I'm not bashing either one of them. I kind of like both of them. I feel like it was a good discussion between them. Oh, and another thing. I mean, the 300,000. Are we serious, bro? You could, to me, that was not a debate. That was a conversation that could have been had over the internet, like what we're doing right now. The little side by side, little whatever meetings or whatever they use. That could have just been an internet conversation. I I think Andrew lost multiple ways on the emotional spectrum. In the debate itself, facts, nobody won. Nobody provided any new evidence, and nobody provided any actual evidence, really. And there wasn't even a lot of discussion about the evidence. So, yeah, they got this guy locked up. They found DNA on a screwdriver that may have been used there. They don't know. They don't have physical evidence of the screwdriver being used on that gun. There's a lot of ifs. I'd be curious to see how the trial plays out with the amount of evidence they actually do have. So, for me, nobody won that part of it. But on the emotional spectrum and the just, bro, you paid $300K to have a conversation. You lost. If you have to pay $300,000 just to have a conversation with somebody, you lost that. And you just, in my eyes, you just lost. You just lost. She got you with some zingers, and that we're talking emotional, not the debate itself, not facts, evidence, logic, common sense. We're not talking that. We're just talking the emotional spectrum on, the zingers. Which to me, that's not really a debate. It was more of just sticking it in his face. You paid me 300 grand to humiliate you on my fucking program. Pardon my language. But that's how I feel. I would never pay anybody $300,000 to have a conversation with them. I'm sorry. I think he thought of it as an investment in two ways: boost his career and put this to sleep. I think he was sincerely pissed off about it. Let's be honest, he's white knighting for Erica Kirk. I understand. She's a widow. Charlie was a magnificent man. Great dude. Very commonsensical. Just reaching people that I could only imagine to reach. His reach, going to those colleges, doing what he did. Wow. I was literally in awe of the young man. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow, this dude, he really put something together here. Because he's reaching people on levels I could only dream of, and he had the articulation and the proper speech and the knowledge and the facts to back up his debates and to back up his words. So kudos to him. I do agree that it's become almost like a cottage industry talking about him, and I can't, I don't want to say, once again, this is just my opinion. So that way I'm not trying to be sued over this or something crazy. It's just my opinion. Let's move on. Let's let the law figure it out. It's okay to investigate it. And I think Candace, being his friend, has every right to. She knew him before Erica. She helped start TPUSA. So um, I think this is getting to a point of kangaroo court. And I agree with Alex. If you throw too much at the wall, it just becomes nonsensical. So maybe some things that, even if you believe it, are better left in your head and not thrown out there till you can bring physical proof to the table. And that way we're not, just throwing pure speculation out there as if it's facts. We don't want to do that. If you want the crime to be solved, we cannot throw pure speculation out like they're facts. You just can't. Not this much. Egyptian plane and Navy SEAL training across seas, and like the CIA might have been involved too. I mean, I made that part up. Nobody said that. You get where I'm going with it. It's an analogy, you know. Um, so I would just like to see a little more care put into these conspiracies, if you will, or called what they are. And it's okay to be wrong. I would say this to Andrew and Candace. It's okay to be wrong. Nobody's right 100% of the time. We don't get shit right. This is not human, It's ridiculous to think, oh, you don't. You can't. And you got to the difference between it is, you got to accept it when you're wrong or you've made a mistake, and you got to come out and say it. So that way that can be erased off the record and we can move on. So that's my thoughts on the debate. Like I said, the common sense part of it, nobody won. Like the facts, common sense, nobody won because nobody's convicted yet. So until that happens, nobody really won that aspect of it, and nobody really brought any new proof or evidence. On the emotional spectrum side and just the kind of like embarrassing side of it, Andrew, you lost, bro. You paid 300 grand. You didn't know the charges. You were getting flustered a lot. I could see it. She was really getting at you. She reached into your psyche a little bit. And for being, like this top notch debater and calling yourself that, you're the one that needs to maintain your composure. And he did through a lot of it, because I listened to it and I watched it when I could. I was at work, so I couldn't watch it but I could listen to it in my ear like a podcast. I had my headphone in. So it's up to him because he paid. So it was up to him to maintain the composure and to really come in with wanting the debate, because she didn't want it. Him wanting this debate so bad, it was up to him to come in with the knowledge. It was up to him in a way to, prove his point, if you will. And not knowing those charges, then telling her about the cell phone. Oh, you didn't get that on your cell phone, did you? Come on, man. Like, she didn't even pull it out, as far as I know. Now, like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing. I wasn't able to. I was listening to it in my ear. But I don't think she even pulled the cell phone out. And if she did, show me the clip. Please send it to me and I'll correct myself. No problem. Because I don't have a problem being wrong. I'm only human. I make mistakes. So, yeah. She won emotional spectrum and $300,000. That's a win right there. That's a W. And on the other side of it, nobody won because it was no facts, no proof of anything, just pure speculation. It was two people, in my eyes, just having a conversation about what they believe. Because until he's convicted, until Tyler Robinson is convicted, it's speculation. You're innocent until proven guilty. As much as we would all love to this be the guy and put this to rest so we can just all move on forward from this. Until he's proven by his peers to be the guy, and until they've shown all the evidence and proof, he is innocent until proven guilty. So nothing gained from that really, other than just a cool conversation. All right, so let's move on here. Appreciate you guys for coming in. If you're new here, hit that like, hit that sub for me. It all helps in the end. We just got done having a little discussion there about Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson, that whole debate thing. So I got a little something here from Alex.
People said, you're a traitor. He's not your scum. Now they're like, no, support 2028 or you're a Qatari agent. What the hell is going on with him saying, yeah, 2028, we're going to win post?
Oh, did I? Oh, I messed it up. My bad.
Because when I said he's talking about it, people said, you're a traitor. He's not your scum. Now they're like, no, support 2028 or you're a Qatari agent. What the hell is going on with him saying, yeah, 2028, we're going to win, posting on Truth Social over the weekend? What is that?
I think it is the most common thing we see Republicans do is that they don't want to actually be in charge. They just like running. They just like campaigning, and they just like making promises. So that gives us another thing to look forward to. We just need more time. It's a troll. That's what Donald Trump was always really good at. And he's funny when he does it. Like, Trump is a very amusing troll because he gets people really like locked into it. Well, that's cute and funny if you're doing that and you're kicking ass and you're getting your agenda done. If you tell me that your agenda was done in July of last year when you were in office for 6 months, and then you start a war and affordability is trashed, and you're telling people you're not going to apologize for gas prices, and it's not, the nuclear weapon system that doesn't exist that we annihilated with Operation Midnight Hammer, which, by the way, was also July of 25. So all these things seem to have changed. You can't be a troll if you're not kicking ass.
Yeah, we're so
to me that sometime in January. I'm sorry, in July.
Okay, so sorry, we'll get back to it. I just want to add my 2 cents in here. Yeah, look, I voted for Trump 3 times. I'll keep saying it. I gotta own up. Gotta be a man. Gotta own your own. Gotta own your own stench here. He has said so many out-of-pocket things lately. You got to pay high. It's your patriotic duty to pay higher for gas. It's groceries, housing. What are we talking about, man? That is the opposite of what you ran on. That is literally the opposite. You should have at least had the wherewithal, in my mind, to get the economy straight. And I get he's just the president. So he's not entirely in charge of the economy. It's the people who actually run the economy is the business owners, really, and us, so it's like business owners, us, then the government, really, because, we work the jobs, they own the jobs, and so the economy's kind of like on us. But they do have price control, regulation control, things of that nature, where they also, unfortunately, are in charge of our economy. And he should have met with the business owners and the people who run the economy truly, got us into shape, really good shape. He did lower the gas prices originally. I remember just not, before the Iran war and all that, what gas was like 2 something a gallon, but now it's up to 4, so yeah, like he should have gotten his ducks in a row before just hopping into this war. And I feel like what would have served him a little bit better, let's get through this. He knew we had this coming, this election in November here. Let's get through that first. Let's get through that election and then go ahead and start that war, pop it off. Let's get through that first. Let's get through the real nitty gritty shit. Let's wade through the shit first, and then he would have set Republicans up for a great win if he would have pulled the economy together, did everything he could here at home first, and then went to war over there. If that was going to be the choice, even though you ran on no new wars, even though you ran on being the peace candidate, okay, I get it. things happen sometimes out of our control, out of our reach. You have to do what you got to do. I don't understand on that level. I don't have the intel. I don't, there's certain things I don't know. So I can give breathing room, no problem. But to just like, I mean, does Trump have ADD or something, man? Is this guy just jumping in the war? Just jumping in, fuck it over here. And to have the MAGA people, and I consider myself to be, used to be MAGA. Now it's so frustrating because I really liked MAGA. I really liked being a part of that. And I didn't jump off the rails right away. Like, I didn't go, oh crap, Iran war, I'm done. I watched it unfold, and I'm making my mind up slowly as we go, because we still do have 2 more years left with this guy. So I don't want to just throw him under the bus, leave him there, run him over and then move on. I really don't want to do that, because I feel like we still have 2 more years. Well, I know we still have 2 more years left with this guy, and he is going to determine probably who's running to take his spot after he's gone, or he's going to be a huge factor in that. Now, unless we all stand up and go, no, 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 and we put the candidate we want in, the next person we put in, though, unfortunately, is going to have the same vibe as Trump. We can't go back to Sleepy Town, Republicanville. We can't come shake the party up and then just walk away. There's just no way. We can't go back to, let's just fall asleep over here. We're going to get our asses ran over. The DSA, Democrat Socialists of America, they're taking their party over. And we need candidates of equal value on our side willing to fight these motherfuckers, or we're screwed, So, yeah, that's where we're at. Anyways, this man has completely flipped the script on us, and I hope I can find some of his speeches on here today. I might be able to. I do this all off Rumble Studio, guys. So if you're like, well, can't you? I could maybe look him up. I'm learning the system here. I'm not an old school podcaster. Like, I haven't been doing this for years, so I'm learning as I go. So stay with me, guys. I appreciate it. I don't have a team. It's just me, so I'm working it all out on my own here, watching YouTube videos and then doing what I can do, so I appreciate it. Sorry, I know that was kind of like where are we going with this? Anyways, back to Trump. He did a 180 on us. Like, where did the Trump I voted for go? Because this isn't the guy, man. This just ain't the guy. No new wars, which, okay, I'll give breathing room on that, because that's very hard, that's a very hard order to fill. But my food price is almost doubled. My gas price has definitely doubled. My heating and electric at my home has almost doubled. If I want to go do something that just, I wanted to go to McDonald's. What used to cost me $10 is now almost $20 to eat at McDonald's. I don't eat at McDonald's. I'm just using that as a reference. I don't eat that. I'd rather go to a sit-down restaurant. If I'm going to spend that much, I can't believe fast food places are still in business even, because honestly, you're going to spend that much. Just go to a sit-down. Go to a mom and pops. Give them the money. My God. The other day I went, instead of to McDonald's, I went to a local restaurant. It cost me just as much to have home-cooked food that it would have cost me to go to McDonald's. So, and I'm not putting McDonald's down. I get it. They're a business. They got to make money. And if their prices go up, our prices go up too. It's just the way it is. It's the way business works. But Trump, like I said, don't control the whole economy, but he does have a say in it. And he can move the needle here and there on certain things. What he could have did was maybe take some regulation off some farms, take some, a little bit of money off, some maybe taxes or something, gave them a tax-free year or something so they could recoup, and that would have brought our prices down a little bit. The oil companies, maybe, I don't know how that works exactly. I don't understand that world very much, but maybe on the refineries or something could have brought their prices down. However that works, I don't know. He could have pre-set up, if you knew you were going to go into a war with Iran, which I'm guessing something like that is not just, well, today's the day we're going to war with Iran, guys. Like, what? No, I'm pretty sure it works like we're going to go to war with Iran 6 months prior, set the military up where you need them. And if you're setting the military up where you need them, why aren't you at least setting up things here at home to go good so you maintain your, what you said to the people, the reason why we put you in that damn office to begin with. So, yeah, we put you there for a reason. Okay, you fed us a great line of BS. Is that what it is? Because I'd really like to know. So anyways, let's finish listening to Alex and them, and we'll rant on a little more.
So the Epstein files were closed on July the 7th of 25. And there was some sort of sea change that took place. We don't know why. Maybe you do, but I don't. I don't know why. I don't have any access to
it. Seemed to be Epstein, but I don't know. I can't say I know.
Well, it was clearly related to the things that were happening in DC at the time, and Epstein was one of them. But there's a link that I sent your guys, and it's from the White House. The White House actually announced mission accomplished. Kind of like, you remember George Bush dropped that on the ship, and he said, we're like, it was at the beginning of the Iraq War.
He had a big banner on the aircraft carrier saying mission accomplished.
It was 2003.
It's like President Trump has kept his promises. Yeah.
Okay, so these are the promises. Okay, this is what's called Agenda 47. If you're watching right now, if you're listening, you're missing it. But
yes, you have the original promises versus what he just put out. So here it is.
Well, what
original promises?
So that's what I was just talking about, right? The original promises as opposed to the real promises that he has kept. So seal the borders and stop the migrant invasion. He did that. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. Has not done that. Actually, Barack Obama, I think Bill Clinton, and 2 Democrat presidents have outdone him on this. I know for sure Barack Obama, but I want to say Bill Clinton also did a huge deportation. And I'm not 100% on George Bush. I'd have to look that up. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. I'm not 100% he's done this. I know closing, the Strait of Hormuz has kind of shoved people our way, but that's probably shoved people to Russia as well. And Russia was always a bigger oil producer than us. So, okay, maybe on that, I'll give that a 50-50 for now because I'm not 100. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. This, as far as I know, is about 50-50. I think he has helped the manufacturing who's been here, but I don't think he's brought anything back that I'm aware of. I'd have to look into that a little more. Largest tax cut for workers and no tax on tips. That he did. This, at least this part. I don't know how big a tax cuts. I'm in a lower tax bracket. I'm not in a very high tax bracket. So for me, I don't know if this really changed for me, but I hope that my middle class brothers and sisters did get a good tax break. I just don't know because I'm not in that tax bracket. I'm poor. Whatever though. Defend our Constitution and our Bill of Rights and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Now, the keep and bear arms part he's been good on, but the freedom of speech part he's actually kind of gone against. And I'm pretty sure these guys are going to all say that too here, but I just wanted to get in here and give my little 2 cents on it, of course. preventing World War III, restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. This is a fucking fantasy. Completely. This whole statement. Number 8 is an absolute fantasy world. He did not prevent World War III. If anything, he's exacerbated it. Sorry, guys, I can't speak, but you get what I'm saying. And peace in Europe? Nope, because they want to go to war with Russia, and he hasn't even stepped to the plate to try to stop that. Building a great Iron Dome, we don't need it. Nobody's going to just launch missiles across seas over here at us. They'd be stupid. And all made in America, well, that's just this. So, yeah. So half of these he has kind of worked on, like half-assily, and the other half, no. He has not done it.
Versus what he just put out. So here it is.
Well, what you're seeing there, that you have that White House document, that came from July of 25, right when the pivot happened, within a week or two of it. So sometimes we can kind of narrow in on things and see what's going on. They claimed promises made, promises kept in July of last year. So they were 6 months into the administration, and they basically did the George Bush mission accomplished. We did all the things. Now look at some of the crazy things that they said they did, because they're insane to me. Number 2 was that they were going to have the largest deportation operation in American history. And then look at what the White House claims in July of last year. They're like, we're deporting some people. Apparently, we've lost the idea that it's the largest deportation operation and that people imagine that tens of millions of folks were going to get kicked out of this country, because that's what we expected to happen. But apparently, we didn't care about that. They just said, we need to claim victory now. We're prematurely claiming victory despite only getting, maybe, including self-deportations, like 2.5 million people out in 2 years. So what are they doing with that? There's another one, number 19, which is kind of amazing. And if you look down there, number 19 was the promise that they were going to secure the election. And they actually claim promises made, promises kept, that they actually secured the election because Donald Trump issued an executive order that has the force of nothing. No paper ballots, no same-day voting, no voter ID nationwide, no proof of citizenship.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll listen. I just want to read this. And the weaponization of government against American people. Like, once again, kind of half done. Like, how can I put this? This is government. So, yeah, no, not really. I mean, I guess they're not going after, maybe they're not going after people so hard like they were when Biden was in. So maybe on that one. Stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. Like 3/4 of that he has done. So that I would take a W there. Yeah, he did. He definitely stopped the crime epidemic. Like they're on notice. That's for sure. And the foreign drug cartels, I think he's bombed a few and took some people out of place. Crush gang violence, that I'm not 100% on. I know he did clean up DC, so I would give him a W for that. I'd give him a dub for that. I'd give him a dub. You can't stop it all. You're not going to just walk out and your streets are going to be perfect. That's just never going to happen. Rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. He did in D.C., but only D.C. Like, it says including DC. Like, what other city has he built, or not built, but like what other city has he done this in? So I would say no there. Strengthen and modernize our military. That he did. I'll give him a dub. Number 12, definitely a dub. He did that. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. I think that was going to happen no matter what. He don't have control of that. That's a new world order thing, and only they have the control of that. Only the banking cartel has control of whether that happens or not. Because when they say it's not anymore, it don't matter what the president says. So in my mind, that was never a thing. Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicaid with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Okay, I'm not 100 on that. I have to look it up, but I don't think there has been. So I'll give him a partial W for now. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly and burdensome regulations. Did he do? I think he did a executive order for that. Cut federal cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, and/or political content on our children. I think he did do that, so that's a dub. Keep men out of women's sports. I think he did that on like a high school level, but on the college level, I think that still exists. Or like the WNBA is going to let women play in there. So deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. That got out of control. He did deport some of those type of people, but for the fact that you're just not allowed to speak up against one group of people or your ass is grass, I don't know there. He fumbled the ball. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots. None of that's happened. That's what the Save America Act is, but as we all know, I don't think it's been passed. So, nope on that one. Unite our country by bringing it to new record levels of success. That's number 20. I would say with the prices the way they are right now, no success.
What the promise was that they were going to get it done. That has to be done by legislation, which comes out of Congress. We found out that the Senate has no appetite to do it. The House keeps doing this like nonsense where they attach it to stuff and send it up. But the Save America Act does not have any legs. And you got people like Mike Lee out there claiming it's done.
And we're going to play this clip in a moment. But here I am. I watch what they point on Truth Social. It's Trump yesterday or 2 days ago. 2028, we will win. And then it's him with George Washington. People go, God, he's incredible. Look how good he walked down the stairs. I'm not trying to be a Trump basher, but this propaganda is falling on deaf ears. The poll numbers, he's at 30% now. We are screwed the midterms, and they just pump this slop at people. And I'm like, what the hell do they think they're doing?
So, Alex, there's obviously a market for that slop. That's the thing that really bothers me. And I spent my morning podcast kind of going through the slop part of it. Bannon has gone out and said it. He said there's 5 different ways, and I expect Donald Trump to be, re-inaugurated as president again in January of 29. It's like, are you guys effing crazy?
So let's go slow. Let's go slow. We got plenty of time. You want to go over the next break. What is up with the 2028 run thing? Because when I said he's talking about it, people said, you're a traitor. He's not your scum. Now they're like, no, support 2028 or you're a Qatari agent. What the hell is going on with him saying, yeah, 2028, we're going to win, posting on Truth Social over the weekend? What is that?
That could be him just trolling. He likes to do that shit. He's not going to run for no way. He's going to be 80-some years old. He's not running for no re-election. He wants to probably go live the rest of his life with his kids and his family and go enjoy his golfing, whatever life he has left.
I think it is the most common thing we see Republicans do is that they don't want to actually be in charge. They just like running. They just like campaigning, and they just like making promises. So that gives us another thing to look forward to. We just need more time. It's a troll. That's what Donald Trump was always really good at. And he's funny when he does it. Like, Trump is a very amusing troll because he gets people really like locked into it. Well, that's cute and funny if you're doing that and you're kicking ass and you're getting your agenda done. If you tell me that your agenda was done in July of last year when you were in office for 6 months, and then you start a war and affordability is trashed, and you're telling people you're not going to apologize for gas prices, and it's not, the nuclear weapon system that doesn't exist that we annihilated with Operation Midnight Hammer, which, by the way, was also July of 25. So all these things seem to have changed. You can't be a troll if you're not kicking ass. If you're out there taunting the enemy and you're losing, you're a fool.
Well, that's the point I just made. It's not working. And by the way,
it's not cute.
Dude, J.D. Vance, like 10 months ago, saw the head of Rasmussen polling on and brought him there for a briefing and warned Trump he didn't listen. These are internal Republican polls, so it's not hype to all the white pillars. We're in deep trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, Bigley has launched an online.
Yeah, we're in big trouble. Like, he jumped the gun. My agenda was done in last year, 6 months in. I'll give credit where credit's due. You were doing great for 6 months. You were really getting on track. I was excited. I was super excited. I was I was praising the rooftops for you, my man. You know, like I was out there. I was like, oh, see, you idiots. You guys are all stupid. And now you turned around and made me look stupid. Like a clown. Like a clown show, you know? Yeah, no. No, 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 no. I. Like, I don't even know where to start with that. For the first 6 months, he was doing good. I give credit where credit's due for sure. Where this has gone since then, though, is another level of crazy. Yeah. Yeah, we've gone to a whole new level of crazy.
But obviously, it's very, very hard to trust, a terrorist organization that committed these terrible atrocities. But we had a very cordial meeting, and they said all the right things. And so we're going to give them a chance to perform, but it's going to have to be based on actions and steps. And I hope it will be true.
You met with Hamas officials yesterday. Do you think they're genuine about peace?
I mean, they said all the right things, but obviously it's very, very hard to trust, a terrorist organization that committed these terrible atrocities. But we had a very cordial meeting, and they said all the right things. And so we're going to give them a chance to perform, but it's going to have to be based on actions and steps. And
yeah, meaning no, we don't trust them at all, and that's not going to happen. That's what that means. Let's be honest here. Trump says his number one goal is preventing is nuclear Iran. How close were they? Honestly, we need some proof. I need some freaking proof here. Oh, wow, we're going to lose Alaska? No, God help us. Alaska was a heavy Republican state, I thought. Maybe not. Ouch. Law enforcement cannot stand alone at the edge of justice while insufficient courts, negligent, learn to speak, Carl. Negligent prosecutors and radical policymakers neglect their constitutional duty. Lincoln rally paid for every failure of the system with her life. Her all too short life will never be forgotten, and is now our responsibility to make sure her death was not in vain. I agree with that. Then start deporting people. What are we doing?
Was located out of. So like anytime ICE was like leaving, we knew like how many cars they had. If they were leaving, we would trail them and then pass it off to the next neighborhood. So like, people at the local building, they'd follow them.
Wow. So just straight working against us in every possible way. Well, we all know if you watch Dr. Caitlin's show, or Dr. Carlin, she explains all this stuff in perfect detail. They're organized beyond belief, and the right is not caught up at all. Matter of fact, the right keeps denying it and acting like these people are just nut jobs. They're just crazy. Well, they're crazy, but you're partially right. But they're also organized and crazy and well funded by billionaires. Excuse me. They're well funded and well organized on top of being crazy. So now you have crazy with a purpose, and it's not good. It's not good at all.
You can't come to the cool kid table in 5th grade. We don't want you at our Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein table. And I'm just like, when did you guys become 10-year-olds. I mean, seriously. I said, this is probably a bug. It needs to be fixed. This absolutely sucks. And I'm drawing attention to it. And you're like, no, everyone just stopped listening to you because you're anti-Iran war and you question Charlie Kirk. Look at the quartering. Let's scroll up. Maybe the Pakistani bots are asleep. Alex, as a daily viewer, I have personally tuned out since you've been on this "the Jews killed Charlie Kirk" nonsense. I'll tune back in when you come back to your senses. What did my post have to do with Jews? I didn't say the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. That's what most of the internet thinks, and I've looked at all the angles. So I always love the straw men, too. Hey, quartering, I'll give you $10,000.
That's the thing. We're not a cult. Like, I'm not being paid by nobody to attack Trump or attack anything. I don't believe the Charlie Kirk narrative fully. I'm not fully convinced, at least. And on top of that, what, we're not supposed to call Trump out when he's doing stupid things and he's lying? Like, no, man, it's called having a little self-respect and dignity. I can't sit here and have a conversation with a group of my friends and family and be like, well, oh, you know, he's so great, he's doing so great. And then they can go, well, oh, is this great? Is this great? Is that great? You know, like you have to call things for what they are, straight down the middle. We can't be like the left in that regard where they'll just suck it up and just, you know, fall for the same old bullcrap over and over. Then we're no better than them, and then we're just as stupid. If we don't have integrity and have some sort of dignity for ourselves, what do you have? Holy God, man. Like, come on. That's not even real. That's not even realistic. That's so stupid. And I'll come back when you get to your senses? What? Bro, you're just defending anything and everything and that's not even having your own train of thought. There's like, what thought Iran's going to have a nuke and they're going to nuke America? No, man. They're not that stupid. And they're not going to nuke Israel either. I don't think Israel has provoked them quite enough to launch a nuke on them, knowing that would be the end of their country too. Because Israel has nukes. No. There's no reasonable explanation to be in this war right now. Period.
You can give me a clip of me saying the Jews killed Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. That too. Come on. The Jews killed him. Nobody said that, at least on, Alex. I never heard him say that. He said I think he might have said there might be some involvement, and I don't know, you fact check me. I think he said that could have been, possibly, but that's just his opinion, and that's not him stating factually that anybody's involved anywhere.
10,000, buddy, should be real easy. I bet you more, but that's about what I got in my bank account. So challenge is there, pal.
Yeah. Show me the video. I'd like to see the clip.
What Musk did with X has been amazing. And, we've had some days where we've had 20 million people watching the live stream there alone. Usually it gets up to like 500,000, a million. We're on Rumble or a lot of the platforms. We're on hundreds of radio stations. We have our own streams. But it's still a very, very important platform. Then we take clips out of the show and tens of millions every day. Watch those. And people copy those, and we can't even keep track of how many views it gets being posted on all the other platforms and reposted to X. But it's substantive. So we'll put those posts on X I did yesterday and today back up so I can read them. On Friday, our social media people, there's two of them here, Lewis and one other great person, said, man, they really changed the algorithm in the back end. It's really screwing up a bunch of stuff. People are complaining. They'll probably work the bugs out they usually do. The interface has got a lot of issues.
Well, here's something to kind of back that up. And I have 1,700 followers on X, and I'm lucky if my show gets 3 or 4 views. that means out of 1,700 people that follow me, 3 people are watching. It just seems unlikely, because I can throw a different post out there, and that post, will get 100, 2, 3, 4, 500 views, likes. You know what I mean? Like, I'll actually get some movement. But like right now, we're live on X, and I don't have nobody watching that I'm aware of. Let's go to it, and I'll look at it on live on X. Yeah. Started 55 minutes ago. I'm live. 0 views. 0. So, yeah. Something's not right there. I mean, I got 1,700 followers. I mean, out of 1,700, you'd expect, what, 30, 50 at least to watch? I mean, I get not everybody there's, is there for my political stuff. Because I also like to post, science stuff, nature stuff, things of that, I don't just post news. It's not strictly a news channel. I like to post stuff about NASA and space. I'm huge into that. So they're not all there for political stuff. A lot of my stuff is political, though. And I know at least a good 1,000 of them are there for political stuff. But they don't even know I'm live right now, even though I'm live. So I can kind of see what he's talking about. And I'm nowhere near Alex's size, and he gets 5,000, 10,000. And you go on his X channel, and I think he's got a couple million followers. I mean, you would think out of all that, you would get something.
And then Saturday, we did a live show, and it had regular, high views.
I'll even put it like this to you. On Rumble here, because I use Rumble I use Rumble Studio. That's how I go live even. So on Rumble, at least I got 2 people watching right now. And I have 7 followers on Rumble, but I got 2 people watching me, 2 dedicated people right now at least. I only got 7 followers. But on X, where I have the most followers, on my YouTube, I only have like 25, 30 people. But on my X, I have 1,700 followers, and nobody's watching. Not a single person. And I'll go the next day, and it'll be three views, 1 view, 3 views, 15 views. Like, yeah, I doubt it. Something's not right.
But still, there was some wonkiness and some problems. And then Sunday night, which is always a big show, we come in, and there was a 90+% reduction in the amount of people that would just, on a normal show, not a big show. All the shows are big, but I mean the really big ones. It was 90% or more less people.
Wow.
And clearly, that was the algorithm, because it also wouldn't post the live feed so you could see it. It would just post a link. And so that's a big problem. And then I noticed this morning when I got up to go look at comments, because I thought maybe they'd have ideas or what was happening to them. I was talking to my social media people. They were showing me posts and things on sports sites and other news sites that aren't even really political, and whole pages of people complaining and prominent tech people saying, yeah, X has got some major bugs with this change. So I said, looks like it's probably not censorship. Looks like it's a bug with whatever change they've had. And I sent post on X to Elon saying, you're probably aware of this, but in case you aren't, please get on this. And then I noticed the bots and some of the real people, about 75%, I would say, of the post this morning on my original post I shot last night when I got off the air. I shot just a couple-minute post saying, this may not be censorship, probably isn't, probably just to change the algorithm. A lot of times when they're working bugs out, stuff like this happens. But regardless, it's throwing a wet blanket on live streams. I saw people like the Quartering, who I've had on the show, who I like, but really doesn't like me now because I'm not pro-war. Thinks I'm a Qatarian or something. Saying, hey, buddy, it's just because your Pakistani bots are asleep. And, everybody hates you now. No, you don't just suddenly lose 90% of your viewers overnight, right when an algorithm change happens, and they don't show your live feed, and they don't show anybody else's live feed, including non-political stuff. People are complaining across the board, and I'm not singling out the guy that does the courting. I was just bringing that up because he's known. It was just comment. Like, that's what annoys me about the white pill Trump supporters is they just get in lockstep and they make everything about the battle for Trump and his personality and the battle of defending Trump. Not the battle of issues, not the battle of us that got him in power, keeping him on the straight and narrow.
Commenting on something that has nothing to even do with Trump and then taking it personal like it does, and then ad hominem attacks and personal attacks on you. It's like, it's nothing of actual substance. It's actually like feminine. You know, if you're a man and you're ad hominem attacking somebody like that constantly, you know, and then berating people, that's like emotional baggage type of stuff. That's drama, you know, and that's, I think that's what it is. And they know drama sells. Drama sells across the board. And that's the problem. It's not about the substance. It's about drama. Look at the Andrew Wilson, Candace Owens debate. It wasn't about the substance. It was about the drama. It was like a live suspense thriller. Oh, what is she going to say to him? What name is she going to call him? Is he going to call her one? Oh, God. Please, yes, call her a bitch, you know, or something. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't, but you get what I mean? It's like, that's what it felt like. It's about the drama. We're all in on the drama. You know, like it's a soap opera, man. I think people miss soap operas. Bring back Days of Our Lives or something, you know, and put that on live stream, people.
But just vitriolically attacking anyone that even mildly criticizes Trump in any way. And that's a big mistake Trump makes as well. He just came out and rips Fox host Shannon Bream, compares her show to the worst of fake CNN, and he says because he notices a lot of her guests criticize him. I mean, so what? And then Trump wants Jimmy Kimmel and people taken off the air because they criticize him. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. He's criticized me, but his ratings are in the tank. No one cares. And what is a president involved in trying to have the FCC silence people? That's the kind of crap the Democrats did. I opposed it with them. I oppose it with you. Got the British government over here involved in 21 states trying to restrict our free speech. I don't care if it's the Israelis, Trump, the Brits, the Chinese, or the Easter Bunny. But again, it's just frustrating that we went out, checked it, said, looks like it's not censorship, but it's having that effect. This algorithm's really screwed up. It's putting a wet blanket on everybody's live stream, including sports shows. You name it. Everybody's complaining. Please fix it. Oh, you lost your audience. Nanny, nanny, boo, boo. Stick your head in doo doo. You can't come to the cool kid table.
That is what it is, isn't it? Because we're not a cult. You got to stand on substance, man. You got to stand on something real. You know what I mean? You can't stand on a pile of shit, sink into it, and then be like, whooshy. It's just stupid.
In fifth grade, we don't want you at our Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein table. And I'm just like, when did you guys become 10-year-olds? I mean, seriously. I said, this is probably a bug. It needs to be fixed. This absolutely sucks. And I'm drawing attention to it. And you're like, no.
That does explain to me, though, probably why I'm not getting as many views as I normally should be, at least. You know, you think with 1,700 followers, you'd get 30 to 50. You know what I mean? Some, you know, that's, and to me, that's kind of a low number. But, you know, I'm not saying, like, I'm not a high podcaster, not, you know, I'm not super well known. But for somebody like Alex, like, I don't make any money doing this. This is, you know, like after work for me, I go to work, I work a real job, you know, but for Alex, who doesn't work a real job, who actually, you know, depends on this for a living, I could see the frustration, to be honest. And then to have these clowns coming in on the back of your show, like, you know, like he said, yeah, boo boo. Oh, well.
Everyone just stopped listening to you because you're anti-Iran war and you question Charlie Kirk.
I'll be right back, guys. Got to use the bathroom.
Well, most people don't believe the official Charlie Kirk story. The numbers are clear. 80+% of Americans are against this war, including 65% of Republican voters in major polls. It's even higher in some. I don't go do what I do on air and go, oh, look, stick my finger in the wind, what's popular. But in many cases, I do promote a popular view. Like I'm against Flock and the way it's being used. Almost everybody else is. But I was talking about the surveillance stuff 30 years ago. But I don't go, oh, that's popular. Let me be that. When something's unpopular, but it's the truth, I will do it. Like I did on the morning of 9/11, saying clearly those were bombs in the buildings. Then the local news announced they blew up Building 7. And the police said, get back, they're blowing it up. Back then, people didn't archive that stuff. That was pre-YouTube. People said I was a liar, and about 5 years later, they uploaded all the archives on all the major channels for whatever reason, and there was dozens of TV channels, BBC, CNN, NPR, ABC Local, all saying they blew up Building 7. Larry Silverstein gave an interview and said they blew it up to PBS. But my point is, I went from 200 and something stations down to like 30 in 1 month. And my revenue went down about 90%. That's okay. Because I have integrity, and I didn't even think about it. The station was very nice, too. They called me and said, listen, you have high ratings here. People really love you. I mean, I was like the up-and-comer in talk radio then. I mean, just dominating. Had, Roger Ailes contacted me through Fox, wanting to, work with me, all the rest of the stuff. And, that put the brakes on that real quick. They came around again later. But the point is that they wanted to control me, so I didn't take the job to be, quote, Limbaugh's replacement. And so, again, these people, like I'm in junior high, because you can go to the original post I did last night about how, whether this is censorship or not, it's having that effect. My first post last night, I think it's at about 6:30, guys on X, pull that up. And you can go to the comments in there, and when I say 75%, it's like the majority who flood in there to have a little celebration. They're like, oh, everybody hates you. Everybody's tuned out from you, blah, blah, blah. Trying to make me feel bad. Here, I'll pull it up for you. Trying to make me go, oh my goodness, you don't like me now, so I'm going to give up. Yeah, that's some of the comments in the original post. Let's
Maybe the Pakistani bots are asleep. Alex, as a daily viewer, I have personally tuned out since you have been on this the Jews killed Charlie Kirk nonsense. Wow. It's a sudden and dramatic change across X.
Let's scroll up to the top. Let's scroll up to the top so people can see the actual name of the video, because I forget it, so people can go see it. Yeah, there it is. Red alert, live shows on X, 9% reduction in viewers after change in algorithm. Are we witnessing mass censorship or just a huge bug in the system? Alex Jones fires the bat signal to Elon Musk. And you scroll down and read it for yourself. I haven't looked at it since this morning. It is person after person after person after person after person saying that, no, there's no censorship. No, there's no problem. I mean, look at the quartering. Let's scroll up. Maybe the Pakistani bots are asleep. Alex, as a daily viewer, I have personally tuned out since you've been on this the Jews killed Charlie Kirk nonsense. I'll tune back in when you come back to your senses. What did my post have to do with Jews? I didn't say the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. That's
Kino Casino. I don't know if anybody knows who that is over on YouTube. They might be on here too. I don't know. But they ripped Jeremy from the quartering a new booty hole. They ripped him apart so bad that I don't know. He's coming on here talking trash to Alex, somebody who hasn't even said anything to him. He should be over on Kino Casino stream talking to them, because Saturday and Sunday, or was it Friday, Saturday? One of the two. They were ripping him to shreds. I mean, they were absolutely shredding him alive, to the point where he was blocking people in his chat because they were coming over from Kino Casino to talk a little trash to him. And you could see him live on, like, just blocking people. So to come over here and talk that trash to Alex, you got bigger fish to fry, homie. You're getting tore up on the internet right now. Bullshit. You were trending towards sanity. Oh, okay. Even called out the Candace Owens BS, then did a U-turn. And the people check out. He didn't do a U-turn. He called it out. He just said what I said. Andrew Wilson lost emotion-based, not facts-based, emotionally based. You know, the gotcha question. He did that to himself. Andrew lost that debate due to his own, questioning system. He should have known she knew the charges and then called her out on the cell phone thing. To me, that was the real only thing that the gotcha question. The rest of that debate, like I said, nobody won. Nobody had anything new. Nobody had any new evidence. Nobody could prove their side of the story more than the other person. And it was leaning towards Andrew already because at least they have the one guy in custody. So all he had to do was remain calm and steady, and he would have won that debate. She was the one reverting to name calling and talking down. But on that side of it, she did win. But on the facts and stuff, nobody won.
That's what most of the internet thinks, and I've looked at all the angles. So I always love the straw men, too. Hey, quartering, I'll give you $10,000. You can give me a clip of me saying the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. 10,000, buddy. Should be real easy. I bet you more, but that's about what I got in my bank account. So challenge is there, pal. What did I say? It's a sudden and dramatic change across X, which now you can go to all the forums about X on X, and they're like, yeah, this totally sucks. I mean, you've got live show streams I saw this morning that are like women doing women's hair that usually have like 300,000 viewers, are like, I've got 5,000 viewers. I haven't had this in years. What's going on? Well, I guess the Pakistani bots weren't very busy for you, sweetheart. I love the pretending that I haven't been on air 32 years, pretending like we don't have tens of billions of views, pretending like we haven't been number one for many years running off and on. It's like, oh, Jones has a big audience because Pakistani bots are promoting him. Oh, yeah, I'm a real big friend of Pakistan. I say a lot of really nice stuff about Pakistan.
A lot of trash talkers out there. Holy shit, did you see that? Did you see that? Let's go back. Look at, bro, it's so obvious you're taking foreign money to attack Trump and push BS TPUSA conspiracy theories. A lot of us have been your fan for years, but we are going to be about of your foreign operations. You, Alex. Who the heck is this jackass? Oh, MAGA Knuckles. That says it right there. Little MAGA soy boy. I'm sorry. You got to think for yourself. And that's the problem with saying this crap right here. It's so easy. Look at no proof, no evidence. You're taking foreign money, pushing BS conspiracy theories about TPUSA. What are we talking about? He didn't push any conspiracy theory. He just said, I don't believe the official narrative. I don't either. I'm not being paid. Can I get paid to say that at least? Where's my foreign money?
Jones has a big audience because Pakistani
because she did win the debate as for the emotional side. As far as women and a lot of weak-minded men, are concerned, she did in the emotional outcome of her. It's mainly women that watch her, and if you watch her show, it's like a soap opera. You know, it's she's very dramatic. I give Candace tons of props. Don't get me wrong, and she is dividing the right. You know, she's one of the people dividing it, but she didn't do that on her own. Once again, Trump left us. We didn't leave him, man. You know what I mean? Like, only he could truly divide the party. Everybody else is just talk. That's just nonsense. If he didn't give them ammo for the gun, there would be dry shots. You know what I mean? The Iran war, the economy right now, everything he ran on is down and out. You know, like all that 6 months of progress he did in the beginning is gone. Can anybody say, other than the transgender thing and a few wins at the Supreme Court, were good? Don't get me wrong, that were good. Other than those couple of W's, that's all we're holding on to, though. It's like you get a Happy Meal and somebody took the burger and the fries away and left you with the drink. You're not getting anything of any substance. Yes, I got this nice sugary drink. It tastes good. I like it. You know, don't get me wrong. I'll take the Coke. Coca-Cola. Oh boy, that'll be a thing, right? Yeah, I'll take the Coca-Cola, but you took the fries and the burgers away, man. Like, my stomach's still going to be empty. You know, well, here's a couple fries back. Like, well, that doesn't do anything. I'd almost rather not have the fries, period. Like, a couple, there's a bunch there. You know, can I have my burger and fries back too? You know, I paid for the whole damn Happy Meal. Can I have the whole thing? Can I have the toy? Can I have the toy in the drink at least? I mean, somebody took the toy, the fries, and the burger away and left your ass with a nice drink. Don't get me wrong, I'll take the drink, but damn, I spent money on the whole thing. And that's what it is, man. Like, I can't sit here in a cult, and Alex can't either. And I get it. He's a man of integrity, a man of discipline. He's been at this for 30 years. He defended Trump to no end. You know, helped him get elected the first election and the second election. Yeah. These people, they're just endless stupid.
Bots are promoting him. Oh, yeah, I'm a real big friend of Pakistan. I say a lot of really nice stuff about Pakistan. I'm like a famous Islamophobe. I'm calling for the new crusades, but I'm on the Muslim payroll. Oh, Tucker Quatarlson? Well, how about Donald Quatarlson? Donald, what's a...
All right.
What's a joke name combining Trump and Qatar?
He's pissed. Or we'll move past it. We'll move past it. He's just pissed. I get it, though. Yeah. That's what you get these. Oh, my God. Good Lord, Kevin. If it was really a cover up, how come the government didn't release any evidence of it? that's kind of funny, though. That's kind of funny, because I don't believe the official narrative either. But I do like Andrew, though. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he stuck up for the wrong thing here, or maybe he just shouldn't have paid. I knew Rex right here. Let's see what Rex said. The quarter pounder supports the war in Iran. You got okay. A little drama is fun once in a while. Again,
you know, and maybe it was botted. I'm not saying he was botting it. I'm saying that X has a massive bot problem. And anytime you talk about that particular foreign country being bad, or you promote Candace Owens' idiotic idea that anybody but Tyler Robinson took that shot, it gets botted. Right? I didn't say that he himself made the claim, but he's on that beat. He's promoting Candace Owens, who's promoting that beat. So his tweets were getting a lot of engagement. I think from bots. Okay? Now he issues a $10,000 challenge to the video of Alex Jones saying that they took out Charlie Kirk. I never said he said that. I said he's on that beat. No, he wants to debate something I've never said, something his unhinged son seems to do all the time too. I never said he said that. I said he's been on that beat, which he has been. If I could do if I could do a Twitter search for how many times he's promoted Candace Owens' insane theories, which I guess I have to do for tomorrow. Now it's 15 minutes. I don't know.
Oh, you lost your audience. Nanny, nanny, boo, boo. Stick your head in doo doo. You can't come to the cool kid table in 5th grade. We don't want you at our Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein table. And I'm just like, when did you guys become 10-year-olds?
Now, again, this is a common mistake that content creators make. I've made it. You know, when people told me, Jeremy, I unsubscribed because you do too many coffee commercials. I'm not doing any coffee commercials this week. I'm doing one on Thursday because we have a big sale, but that's it.
Well, it wasn't
but
that
inside a lot of hater comments is generally a good kernel of truth.
I mean, seriously. I said, this is probably a bug. It needs to be fixed. This absolutely sucks.
By the way, this already has, 35,000 views. Okay.
And I'm drawing attention to it. And you're like, no, everyone just stopped listening to you.
Again, read your own comments. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in here
who are saying that
are saying the same thing I am. And by the way, I said, hey, when you're off that beat, I'll be back. When you're off this, Candace beat,
but the thing
I'll be
is,
back.
Let me pause this. He's not on a Candace beat. He's calling balls and strikes. He did call her out multiple times when he felt she was wrong. And I've been listening to Alex for 26 years, 27 years. And every time she has been wrong, or like he has felt like that's a step too far, or she's taken this to another level, he has called her out. He has. So in his defense, honestly, he has called her out. And Jeremy's being reasonable here. He's being rational. It's yeah. He's called her out. He has not stuck behind it. What Alex has said, and you can go watch his videos to see, he just doesn't believe the official narrative. I don't believe the official narrative fully either. I haven't been convinced. I've seen nothing that puts this guy behind the gun. When you have insufficient data and insufficient evidence, you leave it open to speculation. And for Candace Owens, and everybody's attacking her so much, this has become the great divide. Let her cook. And if she's wrong in the end, she's going to burn the food. You know what I mean? And she's going to have to say something because everybody's going to taste it and go, I don't like it. The problem is, right now, the food ain't burnt because there is no, like, he's been convicted. He's in jail. They had more evidence and proof. They just didn't bring it all out during the prelim. Okay. and I'll accept it. Look, if they convict him, and there's more evidence and proof, and they're just holding it back for the actual trial, because they don't bring everything out in the prelim. That's more of just like, do we have enough to go to trial? That's all that is. And clearly there's enough because he's going to trial. So when there's an actual conviction, I'll have no problem conceding my side of this and saying, yeah, all right, he's guilty. That's it. That's our guy. But until then, you leave the door open to speculation. And that's okay. People have a right to speak on things. Just because Jeremy believes one way and other people believe another way. Oh, and Keno Casino is on here. The Keno Grove, at least. I don't know. That might be them. That's okay to have a difference in opinion. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Here's my original tweet from last night. Nothing but love for you, Alex, but the Candace nonsense is clearly botted, which is likely why you're seeing the drop. I still see your videos just fine. I just tuned out when you took the foreign country went after Charlie Kirk stance. When you put something out not about that, I'll watch. And you can read the comments here, and it's hundreds of people agreeing with me.
It is a lot of people that do agree. But that's because we're so divided up right now. We've fallen into a trap. We have fallen into a trap where we're in that trap zone where it's not okay to disagree with each other and still just move forward with each other. It's very childish, and we got to get out of it. It's a bad phase. Oh, that's my stream. I was going to click on it. Should we click on my stream, guys? And look at it. Nobody watching. Oh, man. I'm giving me a like. Pricks. Give me a like. It's not that terrible. I know I'm not the best at it, but damn. You guys, I'm going home. Right. But never mind. I'm already home. Damn. They got me again. I agree with Alex. Oh, God. All right.
It began as a direct marketing tool by Morris Dees. And he's out of the picture now. But the SPLC is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. One of the things where they really have a problem is they use cutout.
I think this is Alex's lawyer or something. Talking to me about the SPLC
corporations to launder this money that they were paying to people. They'd have people go into banks and say, my name is Jane Doe. I'm operating the Reebok shoe company. I'm a sole proprietor and I want to sell shoes in my town. That was just a cover story that they used to get the banks to open their accounts to them. They were funneling money to informants through that. And so I think that, the SPLC thought it could work with impunity because who isn't against love, right? And the SPLC portrays itself as a group all about social justice. But I think what we're learning is all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and the rule of law is always merely optional to an extremist. And the SPLC takes an extreme view of extremism and takes an extreme view of inclusion and concludes that anybody who's not with its mission is somehow evil, and they feel the ends justify the means. So I think the Justice Department has focused on them now because of their enormous wealth and because they were sloppy with what they did, and they left a paper trail figuring nobody would look. you know, in a trial, there are two types of witnesses: fact witnesses, those who testify about what they perceived or experienced, and then expert witnesses. And an expert witness is a person who, because of their skill, education, training, or experience, can offer opinions about observations. Ms. Byrick was offered as an expert on extremism, and I wasn't sure that that was going to be a relevant topic in your trial, but we did take her deposition and learned that she has a PhD from Purdue, had run the SPLC intelligence unit, whatever that meant, for a while, and had also participated in the House investigation of the Proud Boys. So she had made a tidy career out of investigating groups that she disagreed with. And those groups included the Proud Boys, those groups included you. And, you know, how deep those connections went, whether money's flowed that shouldn't have.
So basically, it's all set up. That's what that sounded like right there. That's basically just all set up. That's my opinion on what he said here. It's all set up. So there is no actual expert because it's corrupt. I just don't like you, so, and I happen to hold this position at this company, so therefore I'm an expert on. Wow, what a bunch of nonsense! Can't trust anything.
I really don't know. I think we'll find out in months to come, and the Department of Justice is just the group to find it out.
Real time, uncensored.
Yeah, so basically, the whole thing's a scam.
Pattis knows a lot more than he can say on air, but he was one of the main lawyers for the Proud Boys, also targeted by her, specifically, and me. So you see that list. We were particularly targeted. That's coming out. And we've got the moles, whistleblowers. It's all coming out. And he was also my lawyer on the Sandy Hook show trials, where we were found liable by the judges. HBO produced it. Norm Pattis, that was quite the buildup, but just what do you want to impart to people? This is a pretty big deal. They're running scared right now.
It's a huge deal. It reminds me very much of what happened with the church committee in the 70s when the whistle was blown on the COINTELPRO operations that the FBI engaged against the left. During the Proud Boys trial, for example, we had to fight very hard to get evidence before the jury that there were federal confidential human sources embedded in the Proud Boys. And we fought and started to win that battle. And our point was, if this was a planned event, the CHSs, the snitches would have known about it. One night when it was pretty clear we were going to get a list of names in front of the jury, a senior Justice Department official came up to me in the hall and said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "I want to find out how many CHSs you had on the ground with the Proud Boys on January 6th. Why? Because I don't think there was a plan. I don't think you think there was a plan. And if there was one, all these eyes and ears on the ground would have found it." To keep me from asking more questions and blowing the lid off of that, we reached a stipulation. They gave us a number which we thought was reasonable, and we were able to argue that in front of the jury. I've always regretted that and wondered what it was we left on the table. The job was to defend the boys, not to be a journalist and uncover larger truths. But it told me there was a lot going on with CHSs. When I saw the Byrick indictment last week, I about fell out of my chair. You know, Heidi Byrick was listed as an expert on extremism, and they had tendered her, the Sandy Hook plaintiffs, as a potential witness in your case as an expert. So we took her deposition, and she didn't do very well in my view. So I wasn't surprised that she didn't testify. However, I'm now reading, and I've heard from Nick Hasiafatsu, Nick the Hat out in Pennsylvania, that he's got an FBI source that is prepared to come forward and say that there were sources in your organization, Alex, that were beholden to InfoWars during the trial. And that just drives me crazy. I mean, what happened to you in that trial was unprecedented in American history, in my view. You provided tens of thousands of documents. You sat for hours worth of depositions.
He did too. Man, that was the biggest railroad trial I've seen in my lifetime, pretty much. An independent media guy, you got to pay. Well, so I think it was like trillions of dollars or $1 trillion, like the GDP of a large country, and then they lowered it down to billions, but still billions for an independent company that talked about something like for 10 minutes or something and can be proven. It's no way that can be legit or real.
People, everyone close to you sat for depositions. The Sandy Hook plaintiffs were never persuaded that you were forthcoming with all the information you had. So they persuaded a judge to grant a default. Who told them you weren't forthcoming? I spent weeks, not consecutive days, but weeks of times over a couple year period at your organization looking for all the documents that I could find. I didn't think that there was more to give than we gave. Somebody told the Sandy Hook plaintiffs that there were, and then they persuaded the judge that there were. The judge defaulted you, basically keeping from the jury the fact that you had complied with discovery, that you had in fact participated in the civil justice system, but instead told the jury you'd been found liable for causing harm. And the result was this eye-popping verdict that was untethered to the facts of the case and was a result. I wonder whether it was a result of sort of SPLC funded agitprop, whether they were able to get the ear of the Sandy Hook lawyers and say, no, there's more. Well,
let's talk about Heidi Bayrick. Okay. They said, give us your marketing. You made money off Sandy Hook. I cover news, and then I have products and services we promote, cut and dry, totally separate issues. Okay. And then you have this Heidi Bayrick lady indicted up at the very top of SPLC, reportedly having sex with the neo-Nazi leaders, living with them, giving millions to herself and them.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? Now that's crazy. So they can do all that, bring these charges against him, but then they can do all that. Where's their charges? Where's their $2 billion, $20 billion lawsuit against them? I mean, that's insane. That's absolute insanity. There's no way. Just wow, man. It's so corrupt.
Or live-in squeeze. And they're saying in the indictments, funding them to do illegal stuff. Regardless, we always knew they ran all the white supremacist groups. And now it's all coming out about investigations into infiltrators. That's highly illegal for a private group to do that. Government has to have serious, all sorts of court approval to do that. This is serious espionage, racketeering, tortious interference, whatever you want to call it. It covers the waterfront, abusive process through the courts, all this being rigged. And then the FBI, when I've talked to them, they didn't even know in the DOJ that they had a 3-part series. We'll put it back on screen with Zach Drucker, who worked at InfoWars, and they admit was an informant for them. And so they didn't even know. The SPLC admits they infiltrated us. We know who the other informant was. We'll be exposing him soon. But just, again, they didn't have moles in here to even find anything. They had the moles to claim they had the credibility to make stuff up. And we're going to release a lot more soon that is damning. I've got crew that are witnesses to it. I mean, one of these guys, not Drucker, the other guy, right before he quit, would walk into the coffee room and say, I hate N-words. And people go, whoa. And when the crew told me right when he quit, they said, well, we don't want to stir up trouble, but he kept doing it. And he did it with Zimmerman on a road trip to do an interview. He kept saying, I hate these N-words. And he's like, well,
trying to pre-set them up. That's all pre-set up stuff. So that it gives you like evidence. You know what I mean? Like, well, I said this and they all went along with it. So they're racist and I can prove it. And he's probably recording the whole time, probably mic'd up at least. I wouldn't doubt if he had a little camera on him, but he was definitely mic'd up. Because you don't say that, for no reason. You want it on mic. That way, if somebody's like, yeah, me too, man, and then that goes, yeah, wow, man, that's pretty crazy. You just never know who you let into your, damn, what do you got to do, a background check on every single person you let around you? I guess when you're at Alex's level, yeah. You better run an FBI background check.
We love everybody. Well, why are you talking like that? And he couldn't get anybody to talk like that. And just horrible people, absolutely disgusting what they were doing. And who knows what else they were doing inside the organization. But this is the crap.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
I would love to know. And I fault Jim Jordan when he had his committee going during the Proud Boys trial. There was a lot of information on the streets in D.C. about CHSs, and he never asked for it. I'm still under court order not to reveal all that I learned. A
lot of folks don't know what a CHS is.
confidential human source, an undercover agent. We are under orders, the lawyers in that case, not to disclose the contents of notebooks we were given. Jordan knows about those notebooks. He could have easily subpoenaed somebody to come and testify before his committee. And when that person said, I can't do it, you could be held in contempt of Congress. I was
and that's
worried
the
about
feds
it.
lying about having feds inside January 6th before and during.
Well, let's talk about January 6th for a little bit. There's one video, Alex, that I think settles the case, and that is the Proud Boys marched across the mall at some point. They had no banners. They were in formation. They got to the peace circle. They hung out. Soon, the crowd of them.
I like to see this right here. This is where it's at. This is what limited government looks like. Texas Constable unplugs and covers plot cameras across county. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. I like to see people taking action, especially the ones who are supposed to.
Was infiltrated by banner waving groups, and these were people who had left the Trump speech up near the White House. When that crowd got involved, that's when the crowd got jazzed up, and that's when the breach of the barricades took place. There was no plan. Even the government acknowledged in its closing argument that the jury could have convicted if there were a so-called implicit conspiracy formed instantaneously at the moment the first barricade was breached, so long as they understood they were there to do violence. That's not a conspiracy. That's a protest gone bad. And so I'd like to know who was in that group of banner-waving people that jazzed people up.
Well, we now know the FBI director lied to Congress when he said no FBI assets were in the crowd. There were a bunch of FBI agents as well. But let's expand on this. Let me quantify this, get your take on it. The DOJ, and there's articles and leaks that I can confirm this is going on at the DOJ, because I was told this months ago and I just rolled my eyes. Now I'm seeing proof. So I'm like, okay, well, show me more. I'm still not holding my breath. But they're talking about SPLC tried to infiltrate InfoWars to crank us up to be violent on Jan 6, and that they infiltrated the Proud Boys to try to crank them up, but that it failed, and that was federal funds to do it. So that's more proof of the feds trying to do that. I separately know in Austin of a major Trump group in Steiner Ranch, which is the rich enclave, that they were trying to wind up groups there, and I'll just stop there, and that's an ongoing investigation. Not connected to us, but that's just another one in Austin. So this is the investigation was on that. The FBI and DOJ did not know that the SPLC bragged they had an infiltrator and a confidential human source, Zach Drucker, insider operation, who they did a 3-part series with. So there they are admitting they did that. And then we know of another one because of sources, because this guy shot his mouth off in front of people. They don't know how many people we've got just everywhere. And so this is a big deal. So knowing that info, that's pretty amazing, isn't it, Norm?
It is, and who knows where this is going to lead. I mean, there's this concept called plausible deniability in intelligence work. So let's say, the lawyers in the case had inside information they shouldn't have had. They're going to deny that.
That's why they say this mission doesn't exist, never existed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's find out. I'm very interested in this.
Well, Zach Drucker and the SPLC screwed up because they said they sent him in to infiltrate and published 3 huge articles.
Okay. Let's see what Trump's saying here. Hold on.
Natalie Harkin build the ballroom and do your job as president. What is your response, John Alsop?
You mean Pee Wee Herman? Pee Wee Herman lookalike? No, I would much rather do other things. We're building a great facility here. We're fixing a White House that hasn't been taken care of. You can look at this. This room was a disgraceful situation, the Oval Office, and it was let go. The whole building, the White House, was let go. The exteriors were falling apart. The columns were falling apart. The whole place was a mess. In addition, they've been trying to get a ballroom for the last 150 years. And when I said I was going to build a ballroom, the military asked if they could see me. And they say, sir, we have an opportunity to go down deep into the ground and build a military facility to go to the White House and to go with all of Washington, D.C., which would be so valuable.
Mr. President, John Alsop said you'd rather travel with your aide, Natalie Harkin, build the ballroom than do your job as.
There's still hope. Can you call him Pee Wee Herman? That I love.
You'll see top sign.
That I absolutely love. There's still hope. I have not given up on Trump completely by any means. I just want to see him get back on track. I don't hate the man at all. I want to see him end this Iran war, and let's get back to doing what we know what to do, and that's running America. Let's taking care of America. Let's taking care of the American people. Let's fix our streets. Let's fix these buildings. Let's fix these cities. All that money wasted over there could have been spent here fixing up a city or two or a couple, and totally would have been welcomed.
I don't even have time to like recite these things, let alone explain them all to the degree that they deserve. I mean, just what's going on in Europe, I could spend.
You can go watch this live on Alex. It's live right now, so it's live over on the Alex Jones Network, and it's live on Alex Jones on X. You can see his little banner here at the screen, bottom of the screen. AJN Live on Rumble, AlexJonesLive.com, RealAlexJones.com, and on X at RealAlexJones. So I gotta give a shout out.
Action of insanity that just goes on top of everything else that's occurred in the UK. A 108-year-old woman has been sexually assaulted and robbed in the French city of Lyon. 108 years old. Easy target. That's what that means. Got a video here of a officer in the UK being literally attacked by a guy with like a club yelling like F you white guy. They got suspended sentences. They aren't getting in trouble. Smashed a cop over the head with a pole because he wanted to give them a ticket for littering. There's a whole giant drama between the Restore Party and the Zionists in the UK that's been very fascinating. I really do want to get into sort of how that has developed. Also, apparently a library gifted to the town of Abergavenny by Scottish-American philanthropist Andrew Carnegie is now being turned into the first ever mosque in Monmouthshire.
Oh, I can't even hear it. I can't believe you would allow your city to just totally be crumbled into nothing like that. Your nation, not even a city, your whole entire country. It's absurd. I don't even know what to say to it. It's so crazy. All right, let's listen to this clown.
Like, why? I'm going to try to like infinite amounts of time. I'm guessing you probably don't want to watch. I'm going to go back
because we don't like have infinite amounts of time. I'm guessing, and you like don't want to watch. You see how like defensive that is? How like the poised way to do that, Andrew, would just be like, well, we just don't have all the time in the world, so we clipped them. But we didn't intend to do anything, nefarious about it. So I'm sorry if it feels that way. Plenty of not defensive ways to, respond.
I discovered that some of the best work is being done by an American group, the Armstrong Institute of Biblical Archaeology, right out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. These guys have wonderful content.
Oh, have you guys seen this? So many feminists, which we knew it would happen, are sticking up for her. This chick murdered, allegedly. I guess I gotta say allegedly until she's, she allegedly murdered her children. Okay, let's see what Gavin McGinnis has to say. I hate to tell you what's really going on here, but the reason she is so popular is simple. She's a very pretty yet plain girl next door with a weird nose. Moms see her beauty as attainable, like Princess Diana. That's it. What? Okay, she's not ugly, but she's not pretty either. Her eyes are black. That's creepy. It's like a demon in there. Okay, I don't see it. I mean, I guess girl next door ish. I kind of got a big nose. I don't find her that attractive though. That's a weird take, Gavin. That's a pretty weird take. I guess no matter what, on that whole debate, you're going to have people one side or the other. As for me responding to this, he can show all the stuff he wants and make all the stupid little goofy faces he likes. Clown world. Neither one of them. And I stand by what I say, no matter how many times they replay this and make Andrew look like a clown. And because you could do the same with her on her side of this. She showed no proof. She showed no evidence. Neither did he. Nobody won that debate. Like I said, this is all just drama. And he had good points and she had a few good points. But other than that, it was just all drama based. This was a great little spectacle is all that was. That's all it was. A good little spectacle. Little something to watch.
That it's all kind of the same story the whole time. Again, it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to get across. But like, what I arrived with was this idea of like, I think I could, if I met an alien or met somebody who'd been in a coma for 40 years, I could explain with great accuracy, never lying once, I could explain the entire narrative of the Iraq War without ever mentioning 9/11. Never bringing it up.
Whoa.
Never mentioning it. Never saying so.
Really?
There's so many, but I could. At
least I don't think so.
Ever could before. That's grown American production. And the Permian Basin, where we are right now in West Texas, the production, when President Trump was first elected 10 years ago, since then, oil production in this basin, America's largest oil field, oil production has quadrupled. Natural gas production has grown sevenfold. And so this is about innovation, and this is about unleashing American energy. We can produce more oil and gas at less cost than we ever could before. That's grown American production. And the Permian Basin, where we are right now in West Texas, the production, when President Trump was first elected 10 years ago, since then, oil production in this basin, America's largest.
Okay, that's kind of cool. It's good to hear, at least. Because Lord knows we need a freaking W somewhere, right?
Time, but over the years we've had them out there much longer. I was at a group meeting and an admiral came up to see me over the weekend, and it was at a big group, and he happened to be an admiral retired. He said, I've been on ships that are out there much longer than that, sir, and I know people on the Lincoln, they say it's beautifully maintained and beautifully taken care of. And other people went out and they found out to be true. It was fake news reporting from CNN.
Mr. President. Was it fake news, though? I hope so. To be quite honest, like I really do hope that was fake news, because our men and women at seas, across the ocean, anywhere they are, deserve better than that. This is the U.S., man. We're not some third world country. We're not some, low downtrodden place that can't afford to take care of our people. We can definitely afford it. If we can afford to give welfare and Medicaid and all this stuff out, we can afford to take care of our soldiers. If you put them in harm's way, or you're putting them in harm's way, or putting them out there, we damn sure better be able to take care of them. And if we can't, you bring them back home and we'll take care of them here. That's how it should operate. So I hope those men and women I hope that is true and that it is just fake news, because my God, you know, that's the last bastion of hope for me, are those good men and women. And they really do, you know, provide a service beyond and above measure. And that's the one thing I will stick up for wholeheartedly. They deserve the best care when they get back home. They go, their job is, you know, one of the most important jobs, you know. That's keeping us safe here and doing all the things that none of us want to do. So you better believe I'm down for taking care of them. All right, I'm gonna get off, guys. I hope you had a good show today. I sure did. I had a little fun. It was nice. A little doom scrolling on X here. Got a couple nice clips in. Had some good conversations, I feel. If you'd like, you can subscribe to me here on Rumble at Sundown Entertainment. You can also sub to me over on X at KJ1116, or just type in sundown, that's it. And I got a blue check mark. You'll see my ugly little face on the picture holder. And I'm also on YouTube at Distorted Perception. It's at Distorted Perception, but instead of E's, it's threes. So it's at DISTORT 3D Perception. And then the perception is PERC3PTION. So it's Distorted Perception. And where the E is in distorted, there's a 3. And the second E in on perception is also a 3. So thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate you. I will be on tomorrow. I'm going to the gym, so we'll be live from my car. We'll have some fun. It's always fun when it's live from the car. I got my little mic set up, so I'm happy. I'm actually happy to put that thing to use. You know, I bought that, and I'm like, where am I going to really use this thing? I don't usually walk and talk. Usually I'm doing it here at home on my computer. And I have actually found a use for that thing. And you can hear me really well instead of trying to talk to the mic on the cell phone. So those things work pretty dang good, man. I was a little skeptical. The only thing I don't like is that they do pick up the air and the stuff around you, even with that little fuzzy thing. I'm sure it's worse without it, but even with that, you can still kind of pick up the surrounding sound. So maybe I'll have to see if there's an app for it or something. Maybe I could turn down the surrounding noise or something, noise cancellation on them. I'll have to check it out. Anyways, I got to work tomorrow. So I'll be on about 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for joining me on this Monday. Hit that like, hit that sub. You can follow me on X, YouTube, and here on Rumble. And if you want, Facebook as well, Carl Judlowski. You'll see me. I make a lot of videos over there too. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.